Thank you so much. We are going to have our fourth PR planning seminar here in Vancouver. First, I'm just going to talk about why we are going to have this seminar, because we used to have like very straightforward applications. So anyone could have like an express entry profile or any application and they can apply and get their PR. Nowadays, since 2-3 years ago, so we have had over 3 million applicants with temporary permits, like study permits, work permits, and they are kind of desperate how to get their PR. The scores for provincial nominee programs, for federal programs have gone up. So we have had many clients, so they visit us, they have PhD degree, so they make good income, maybe 100K. They still cannot get their PR. So the PR planning is important because nowadays maybe a plumber have a better, as an example, have a better opportunity than a doctor. So it's very good to choose the pathway wisely and the province, which program, is it better to go for a federal program? Is it better to go for a provincial? If there is no option, so maybe the business category option is the better one. So it really depends on the situation of that client. So that's why we are going to have a PR planning. Maybe you're not eligible right now, but if you plan ahead, maybe you have that option in 6 months, in 1 year. So, and that's the whole reason of having this webinar. First, a little bit about ourselves. So we are Synova, about the name. So it's a combination of synergy and innovation. It's derived from the Scandinavian root, means gift from the sun. And our vision was to have the best application. So we don't want to be the largest, we don't want to be the first, we want to be the best in terms of the quality of applications. We've had over 5,000 immigration applications so far. About 500 of them was in business category, like startups, entrepreneurships, and we are licensed and recognized by College of Immigration Citizenship Canada. And about ourselves, so first I'm going to introduce Mohammed. Mohammed is my partner, so he has a Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering, post-degree in business from Lander College here. He has 2 certifications in entrepreneurship and strategy from Harvard Business School, 15 years of experience in business consulting, and he has mentored many small businesses. So we have 2 companies, Synova Consulting and Synova Immigration. Mo is more on the business side. I'm focused on the immigration side, and the reason we have 2 companies is because initially we've had many business category applications, as I said, like entrepreneurship and startups. So these applications are not just the skilled workers. So we need the business plan, business concepts, a lot of business things, as well as the immigration. So he is more focused on that side. I'm on the immigration side. I have electrical engineering, master's degree in MBA, and diploma in immigration law. I have unrestricted practice license, R3. It means that I can represent clients. I can advise for immigration as well. I can represent them in immigration tribunals. So if they have their application refused, and if they want to appeal it, if they have like the refugee application, which is not our expertise, but we have that license. I have 10 years of Canadian experience and supervised over 5,000 applications so far. Quick facts, which is the most presentation, so he's gonna explain a little bit about the immigration industry as a whole.
Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to the seminar. There are over 3 million people with a temporary permit here in Canada. And that's almost 8% of the country's total population. So to give you a better perspective, here in Metro Vancouver, we have almost 2.5 million population. So the total number of temporary permit holders in Canada is larger than the total population of Metro Vancouver. As we can see in this graph, the biggest group are work permit holders and study permit holders. Many of them, of course not all of them, hope to stay here in Canada permanently. So they are actually competing for the available spot for permanent residency. In the next graph, we show the total number of PR issued by IRCC over the past 10 years. And as we can see here, there's a consistent growth over the past 10 years, starting from, starting from almost 270,000 in 2015, and IRCC set a record of almost 500,000 PR issued in 2024. So as we can see here, that's almost 500,000 PR issued. There was a drop in 2020 due to a pandemic, but generally the approach was to grow the number of PRs. However, the projection for the next 3 years is actually to reduce the total number of PRs. So for this year, 2025, the quota is almost 400,000, followed by 380 and 365 in the next 2 years. So with all the temporary permit holder in Canada and this reduction, there is a tough competition, I would say a race between the candidate to get the PR. So for 2025, the projection is almost 400,000 PR, and we estimate that most of the spots were given to people in Canada. So let's assume 75%, that means 300 out of 400 is given to people in Canada. But that's 1 out of 10, because we have 3 million people in Canada with a temporary permit. But the good news is that the total number of people in the pool of experienced entry is only almost 234,000 people currently, as of today, to are in the pool of experienced entry. And here we have the distribution of the CRS score. So the people with the score of below 300 is almost 6,000 people. And here we have 21,000 people with the CRS score of 300 to 350. And as you can see here, for example, above 400, we have 64,000 here, 69,000 here, above 451. We believe that people with the CRS score of 400 or higher would have a good chance to get their PR in the next 2 years. But the main question is that which pathway or subcategory is the best option for me? That's where many people feel lost or confused because they don't know if they need a job offer or if they are eligible for caregiver program. They ask questions, do I need to improve my English? Do I have to start French? Or do I have to move to a smaller province to have a better chance? Or if I get the Red Seal certificate, will it help? Or some people ask if I can open a business and get my permanent residency through that business. So these are the questions, and in fact, these are different pathways for people to get their permanent residency. That's why, as Reza said, PR planning or have a plan for one of these pathways is very important. Today, we want to quickly review some of these programs, and hopefully you can find the best pathway or the best option for your situation.
Okay, perfect. So when we see a client, so we prefer, to offer the most straightforward federal skilled worker if they are eligible for that. So because honestly, that's the cheapest option. It's very straightforward, but it's very competitive. So it is a point-based system. So your personal factors, like your age, your education, language skills, work in English and French, and your work experience counts. Also adaptability. We have had a big change in express entry, which is the job offer. So as you know, so there have been a lot of frauds and fake job offers just to get that 50 extra points to secure their PR. So IRCC, Immigration Canada, removed that 50 points. So nowadays, if you have been offered a job offer and they, for example, promise you get 50 points and you get your PR, so just forget about it. So there is no 50 points for job offer. So there's no 50 points for LMIA-based job offer from April. We believe that after they remove this 50 points, we are going to see a little bit of drop in the CRS scores. We don't know exactly how much, but right now it's about, for example, for CEC, the CRS is 521, so it might go down to around 480, 490, but that's just a guess. But we are going to have a drop for sure. And again, the reason we need the PR planning is because, as you see, previously we had like the general drop. The general drop, it means that you just need to have a job in the knock tier, so 0, 1, 2, and 3. So good, you can just create your express entry profile, you can get the invitation, and that's it. But the problem is, so there is no more general drop. So the April 23, 2024, which is last year, that was the last general drop. So after that, they introduced like a category-based drop. So that's why you need to be wise. Why? Because if you're in one of those categories, so you have a better chance. If you're in training, if you are in healthcare, if you are in STEM, like the engineering, science, or which one I forget?
Mathematics.
And the other category was like francophones. So you have a better opportunity, and you can see it. So the general draw, we don't have it, but it's over 500. But for trades, we used to have like the draw 350, 400, 430. So it's about 100 scores lower. So even if you want to get a job, if you have different job opportunities, it is very important for you to see which one helps more to get your PR before just taking the job. So we have some tables here for category based. And just 2 days ago, we had like another change, which I'm going to talk about it. So the CEC, Canadian Experience class. So generally those people in Canada have a better chance compared to people outside, because after 1 year of full-time work experience in the NOC from 0 to 3, they can get invitation from CEC. So basically you are in a pool of candidates which is different from those outside. The score still is high, but they promise they are going to have a regular draw for CEC, Canadian Experience class. Now it's 521, but we can see that they are going to draw again and again. If you check the history of Canadian Experience class from 3-4 years ago, it was about 340, 350, which was good. So, and during pandemic, if you remember, so they just sent 27,000 invitations. So the score dropped to 75. So basically, everyone who has an express entry profile get an invitation. So it is an option for those who has 1 year of Canadian full-time experience. Other than that, as I said, the categories. As you see, we don't have the federal skill trade. We have like the trade occupations. The most recent one was 433, which is good. If you are, for example, a plumber, and you have all the eligibility requirements, you can get invitation with 43. You don't need to be 521. So which is very important for you to choose which occupation you can get. So each of these categories specify the job titles. It's not all the trade occupations. So they have just changed it. So they changed it 2 days ago. So they removed some of the jobs and they add some of the jobs. For example, we have chef now in the these specific categories, which is like a priority. Another one is for healthcare occupations, same story, different job titles. So if you are in this category, so as you can see, 463, 445, and plus for 2025, they are going to focus largely on healthcare, and not only for federal scale, but also for provincial. So healthcare is the priority in all provinces in Canada. Sometimes you have express entry profile, but this profile is attached to the provinces. So it's like a unique system. So maybe you have an express entry profile, but you get invitation from Ontario. It's interesting, right? And we had that example last summer.
Yeah, it was 390.
So imagine you have like a 450 score, you cannot get invitation, but Ontario sends invitation for those who are in this category with the score of 395. So if you have the profile in this category, not only IRCC, but also the province can send you invitation because of your demands. And Francophone, it's one of the very interesting categories. I know it's not very easy to get like the CLB7 in French, but for those who have like the days, I don't know, so if they have time to just, I don't know, to put a lot of time and efforts into it, maybe 1 year, 1.5 years to get CLB7, so they can get the invitation with lower score. Even in this category, so it's competitive. If it was 300 something, now it's, it has gone up about 40, 50 points because, it's one of those categories which is very interesting for those, especially, some countries, they have like second language, which is French, so it's very easy for them to, to be in this category. And, okay, so this is like the PMPs. Let me explain a little bit more about the PMPs in general. You're all in Vancouver, so you know that. So if you get an invitation, if you have like the nomination from province, so you get 600 extra points. So, the scores, is crazy, but all people in this category, they have 600 already because they have like the nomination from the province. So let's say they have 300, which is not good. They have the nomination from this province, so 300 plus 600, now it's 900. So in the first draw, they can get invitation. So, but the issue is about the provinces that, it's very competitive and the situation is very bad, honestly, for province. And I'm going to talk about it later. And that's why many people look at federal skilled worker or CEC compared to PMPs. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, the PMP was very easy. So they secured 600 points and then they get the invitation. But now it's a different story. So I'll talk about that later. Okay, this is the very, very new change. 2 days ago, IRCC introduced a new category for educators. As you see, elementary school teachers, secondary school teachers, early childhood educators, and assistants. So they just specify one category for them. Same as like those with French, trade. So this is a new category. So if you have a job, just 6 months of work experience in the last 3 years in one of these categories, and you have like a good language and with all other personal factors, there is a high chance of getting selected. We don't know the scores yet because there hasn't been any draw. It's just 2 days ago. I highly recommend for those in this category to have a profile already. So as soon as they have the invitation, they might get, I don't know, they might get an invitation with 350, 400. Let's see. Okay. I don't want to, explain a little bit, a lot about the provinces. So I just review quickly because we have, I don't know, more than 80 programs for provinces. So I just want to quickly review the requirements. For BC, we have like the skilled worker. We need a full-time permanent job offer. So I just want to mention some important factors. So if you want to go for provinces like BC, most of the provinces, you need to have like a permanent job offer. So if your job offer has an end date, which is not indeterminate, you are not eligible. So you need to have a permanent job offer. And for most of the provinces, not only you need to meet the requirements, but also the employer needs to meet the requirements. For BC, 5 full-time employee, we don't have the revenue requirements for BC, we have it for Ontario, but for BC, 5 full-time employee and permanent job offer, that's very important. We have like the target-based draw, same as express entry, we have the same target-based for BC, which is construction, healthcare, early childhood, childcare basically, and healthcare, and what was the other one? Technology. They used to call it tech pilots, now it's technology. And as I said, for construction, let me just explain a little bit more about construction. So if you want to be in that category, it's important to know that you need to have a trade certificate or red seal. So we have had many questions every day that, I'm a plumber, I'm an electrician, so am I eligible to apply under construction? You can apply as long as you have the trade certificate or red seal. If you don't have it, even if you are an electrician, you cannot be in this category. So it's going to be like a general draw for PMP, which who knows what's the most recent draw for general draw for PMP. What was the score? Anyone knows? 148. 148. It used to be below 100 maybe 1 year ago, 1.5. And that's the reason. So he is, for example, I used to have a client, PhD in chemical engineering, not from here, from Calgary. She makes 100K, everything good, language CLB9, and she's still not qualified for PMP. And why the score is so high? Because they don't send many invitations. That's because of the invitation. So if they invite 50 for each draw, so the score is going to be lower. But when they send just less than 10 invitations, so that makes the score is very high. We have the same entry level, like semi-skilled, which is like the in-demand in Ontario. It's very similar. You need to have like 9 months of work experience. Still, we have the challenge. The score is very high. And we have another challenge for this category. So, because it's for tourism industry. So let's say she works as a restaurant supervisor, for example, or in receptionist, receptionist. So, for BC, your wage gets score. So the more your salary, the higher you get score. So, but the issue is these are entry level jobs. So you know that many people, unfortunately, have manipulated their wage in order to get the invitation, for example. So they do some arrangement with their employers. Unfortunately, that's so, okay, my wage is $20 an hour, so can you please make it like $40 an hour in order to get PR? But the issue is she's like a cleaner. It's not possible for her to, for example, to have a job with $40 an hour. That's not possible. So everyone knows that that's not true. That's the challenge we have for these like semi-skilled and entry-level job offers in this category. And to be honest, DC is one of the worst right now in terms of the situation of getting invitation. I am going to explain a little bit about Ontario and some provinces. So Ontario, same. We have like the employer requirement as well. For employer requirement, it's tougher because not only 5 full-time employee they need to be Canadian or PR. In BC, we don't have that. So in BC, that 5 employees could be like a work permit holders. For Ontario, they have to be a Canadian citizen, those employees. Plus, the employer needs to make $1 million a year to be qualified as an eligible employer if they are in GTA. If they are outside Greater Toronto area, they can, it's 500,000. So the employer requirement is higher, but the draw is, I would say it's more reasonable. So the scores are good. So if you have like a decent job, maybe you get qualified for this. For foreign worker experience, this is one of the very good categories for them. You need to have a job offer. It's job not tier 0 to 3, as you can see on the screen. And first, we have the scoring factor. So you need, same as BC, you need to get selected from Ontario first to be eligible to apply for PR. We have the in-demand, same as the semi-skilled and entry-level, which we have here. It's much better program category because you need 9 months of work experience. It's like for general jobs to like the tier 4 and 5. But if you can see on the website, there's so many jobs. So in every category, so not tier 4 and 5. So if you work there, you can get selected easily. I don't want to say easily, compared to BC, it's better. We have the Alberta program for those who want to, relocate to other provinces. So after September, there was a big change in Alberta as well. So they introduced like the expression of interest profile, same as other provinces. So you need to get selected. We have different streams. The opportunity stream, which you can see here, is a good option. Foreign work experience counts. Alberta work experience counts. If you have PGW2 or postgraduate work permit, so you just need to have 6 months of work experience in Alberta to be eligible, along with other factors. But remember, you still need to exceed the cutoff points of Alberta. We have the express entry system stream. It's express entry for Alberta, but you still need to have a job offer. But the good thing is, to be eligible, as you can see, you need CRA score 300. There's so many people with scored over 300, which make them qualify for this category, but they need to be in that province and they need to have a job offer, Alberta job offer, to be eligible to apply for this. So these are all under that expression of interest, which they introduced after September. I am going to skip Saskatchewan. As you know, Saskatchewan stopped all job offer-based programs last week. So we just have the occupation and demand and express entry. It's not for those in Canada, so someone anywhere in the world. They can apply for express entry Saskatchewan, but this court, we have the same situations. If you have French, 10 years of recent work experience, and if you know French, there might be an option for express entry. Saskatchewan express entry. But the old people who relocated to Saskatchewan in the hope of securing a job and get PR, they stopped. We have the Manitoba, but it's interesting. If you're in BC, if you're anywhere in Canada outside Manitoba, and you want to move to Manitoba, so they reduce 100 points because you have a risk factor. There is a risk factor that you secure a job, get a PR, and go back to Vancouver. And that's why if you can see in the table that it's good. Manitoba, the scores is reasonable, but for those who have like a family connection there, or for those who straight went to Manitoba and secure a job, so you can go there, but you need to check your points. So if you have a consultation with you, we can check your points. But as far as I know, over the last 6 months, the scores have gone up for Manitoba. But there is an option. Atlantic is good. I don't want to, go over sentences one by one, but it's good because, it's up to tier 4, like the general jobs. One of the good things about this is it's 4 provinces, so it's a federal program. This is not provincial, this is federal program. So New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, and Prince Edward Island. So you have 4 provinces, but they have like the cap. I know that many people rush to those provinces to secure their PR. It's good, it's not point-based. As I said, up to NOC Tier 4, CLB 4. It's good, but just you need to be careful about the cap and, but the good thing about the Atlantic is you have 2 opportunity at the same time. You're in, for example, Halifax. So you have the Nova Scotia skilled worker, which is a provincial level, and you have the Atlantic as well. As long as you can meet the requirements, it's good because you can have 2 options. We don't have that option in Ontario or BC, because if you just want to consider the province, it's just a province. There's no federal program for BC, but for Atlantic, you have 2 options at the same time. So we have the business category. Mohammed is going to explain about it. We have seen that many people were not qualified for any of them. Okay, so they need to consider other business, maybe business category immigration programs, which might be a better option for them.
So if your point is not actually high enough to get invitation for federal program and you don't want to move to other provinces, we have 2 business categories which you might consider to actually go through to get your permanent residence. The first program is BC Entrepreneur Program. So if someone wants to open a business, let's say a restaurant, a coffee shop, a mechanic shop, a clinic, or any type of, we call it like traditional businesses. You can open the business and you can invest on your business. Depends on the location. The investment could be as low as 100,000 Canadian dollars. And you might be eligible to get your permanent residence. What is the advantage of this program? It has like a clear pathway to PR. So if you send the business plan to BCPMP and they approve your business, they will sign an official contract with you to help you to run your business and get your permanent residence. The English requirement is only 4, CLB 4. And there is like a supportive ecosystem here in Canada when you open a local business, generally the Canadian people or the people in that area will support your business. And the risk of business failure is low because when the province approves your business plan, that means they have already investigated and your business is actually in demand. So the chance of business failure is low. The requirement is that you need to actually invest on your business, and you need to actually have a high intention to run the business, because if you get approval from the government, but if you do not open your business or do not operate your business or do not invest on your business, you cannot get your permanent business. You have to employ at least one Canadian or permanent resident. So there is like a job creation requirement. And as I said, there is like an English requirement of CLB 4. This is called BC Entrepreneurship Program. For those people who want to open a traditional business like a restaurant here in Vancouver or Victoria or the entire province. We have another program, which is actually a federal program. It's a startup visa. A startup visa is, as I said, is a federal program. So you can be anywhere in Canada except for Quebec. So you can be based in Vancouver or Toronto or other provinces. The business type must be innovative. So we would say like technology-based businesses. This is a direct pathway to PR. This is a federal program. The English requirement is CLB 5. And up to 5 families can be on one business plan and one startup. So if there are like a group of 3 or 4 people and they want to start a technology-based business. So as an example, if a restaurant is a traditional business, you can go for entrepreneurship program. But if you have a mobile delivery application, that would be a startup program. So up to 5 people can be on one business and they can apply for permanent residence. The success rate of this program, based on what we actually asked from the IRCC, is very high. For those people who apply from Canada, the success rate was almost 96% in the past 4 years. So there is a good chance of getting the PR. And it gives you 3 years of open work permit. So if you have like a temporary permit and you're concerned that your permit is going to expire in the next year or next 2 years, the startup program gives you the option to apply for work permit and gives you 3 years of open work permit. With the open work permit, you can work anywhere you want, and at the same time, you can work on your startup business. The requirement, as I said, you need to have a business idea. We can help you to develop the business idea. As Reza said, we have a consulting company, and we can sit with you to discuss the business idea, how the business can be qualified by IRCC. At the same time, has a good chance of business success. We need to prepare a business plan and pitch deck, which actually is like a presentation file, which we can help you to do that. And with the business plan and pitch deck, we propose it to, it's called designated organization. There are like lists of companies by IRCC. We have to present the business to them to get a letter of support. And with the letter of support, you can apply for permanent residency. The good thing is that we can guarantee that part. So if we write a business plan for you, we will guarantee that we can get the letter of support from the designated organization. As I said, you need to have the language proficiency and proof of fund that you are able to support yourself and your family and also your business in Canada. The designated organization types, that means that organization which actually support the business idea, are business incubator, angel investor, and venture capital. The angel investor and venture capital, if they approve your business idea, they will also invest on your business. So angel investor has, they have the commitment of minimum $75,000 to be invested on the business, and the venture capital will invest $200,000 on the business. So, yeah, that's almost about the program, we wanted to explain. Now we want to have your questions. I think we have like maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. If you want to have like a break, you can have a coffee and then you can come back, ask your question. And for those who attended this webinar, we will have a one-to-one free session. So if you scan this code, it goes to our Google Calendar, and you can make a free consultation. Usually it's $200 for a consultation meeting, but for you, because you attended on your weekend, we have the script for you. You can scan, go to your calendar, pick up a date, and that will be free of charge. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, sure.
Yes. Thank you very much for the full explanation and everything was clear. Just getting the franchise, you can be McDonald's or any well-known brand, that which section of the business it will be involved? It will be the traditional section or
Yeah, you mean a franchise from
Yes.
The franchise.
Yeah, that would be under VC entrepreneurship program. So basically, if you buy a business, so means, for example, there is a restaurant and you go and acquire that business, or if you get a franchise from a Starbucks or McDonald's, that will come under entrepreneurship program. Definitely, you will invest more than 200, 300, and you will hire some people. You should hire actually Canadian, not the like students or permit, but that comes under entrepreneurship program.
Yeah, and the thing is, so because as Mo said, so for entrepreneurship we have like two subcategories. One of them is just the basic stream. The other one is the regional for some communities in BC. If it is for those regional, it's just launching the business. So we cannot buy a business. But if it is, for example, Vancouver, so you have the option to either buy it or launch it.
But the thing is that many of these like franchise companies, they require you to have like permanent residency. So the first thing you need to check is that if they are willing to give you a franchise with your, temporary permit. So that's a problem. Some of them, they actually accept that. For example, actually in December, we had Ray Russell here, the founder of Precious Slice, and they have over 100 branch in Canada. And he said he's fine. If there's anyone with a work permit or a study permit, they want to get a franchise of Precious Slice, he's fine. So you need to check that one.
And what if the franchise it will be in another state, another province, like for example in Ontario? And
you have to check if there is the entrepreneurship available in other provinces. For example, Ontario has paused the program, so there is no option for you to go in Toronto and open a franchise to get a permanent residency. But other provinces, for example, Saskatchewan, we still have it.
I do understand, but what if that business only exists in Ontario and not here in BC? And you want to take that business and open it as a first one?
Yeah,
have it here.
yeah,
That's lost. Basically, any business you open here and you contribute to the community, the basic be might actually upload that. Thank you.
no problem. Okay.
So you mentioned that one of the categories for the skilled work ability can basically was technology, right? Because,
For the beast. Okay.
I wanted to ask if you have to be in the technology position of like developing the area of developing the technology, or you can be in another area of technology.
So, there is a list. So they are very specific on that. So if you check the website, so it's not about the industry, it's about the job title. So maybe, just as an example, a restaurant could have a web developer. Restaurant couldn't have a web developer if they want to, for example, develop something. But it's not about the company, it's about the job title and the duties that you have. And it's mostly like the tech-based, like the software engineer, data scientists.
Oh,
There are a lot of them. Yeah.
okay. And I have a second question. There's some new way that you mentioned about education
Yes.
field.
The new one.
Yeah, and you mentioned that if you're an educator, so does it has to be a full-time job, the education, or can it be
Everything
part-time?
needs to be full time to express. Needs to be full time, but the good thing is just 6 months. But there's a catch. With that 6 months, you cannot have express entry profile because to have an express entry profile, you need to first be eligible for one of the streams, which is federal skilled worker, Canadian experience class CEC, or federal skill trade. So each of them you need to have at least 1 year of full-time experience. For federal skill, it has to be continuous. For CEC, it doesn't have to be continuous, okay? But 1 year, you need at least 1 year to have a profile. But in order for you to be in one of those categories, you just need to have 6 months in the last 3 years to get invitation for that category.
And I have one last question.
Yeah.
About the work experience. If you had work experience during the time you had studying permit,
That doesn't count.
okay.
For the sake of question, so in the education category, that 6 months, it has to be continuous under one employer, or could it be like, let's say, I'm currently working as a CA, so
No, it doesn't have to be one employer.
one employer,
Yeah,
that 6 months can be 3 months under
as long as it's full time. Yeah.
Okay, right. But what did you mention about that CEC? I mean, should I have 1 year experience?
Okay. So this category is one of the categories of express entry. First, you need to be eligible for express entry, and then category. You cannot get selected from category if you don't have a profile. So in order for you to have the profile, you need to have 1 year of full-time work experience. Once you have the profile in place, if the last 6 months is in one of those categories, so it's like a priority, and you can get selected with one of the categories.
Okay, so imagine like I have already express entry profile,
Okay.
but I not 6 months of the education
Okay.
job.
Okay.
So can I?
So it's just the CEC. That means it's not educator, but you have 1 year of Canadian experience, so you have the profile. So it's gonna be the Canadian experience class. So you have the opportunity in that stream only.
But the day you have like 6 months of experience in education, you will be eligible for.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, I have to complete 6 months.
Yes, you need to, yeah.
Oh,
And you don't need to do anything because you have the professor. The only thing is you need to update your primary occupation because they send you invitations based on your primary occupation in the profile. Because definitely now you have another primary occupation if you have the profile.
can I pick 2 marks for primary?
For this one, for the
Let's
educator,
say, I worked as a supervisor previously, but it's just 8 months. So recently I started as a educator.
yes.
So can I?
No,
Because
because
Canadian experience need tier job. So supervisor fulfilled that tier job, but I didn't stay there for 1 year. So
yeah, for this category you just need to be 6 months if you're educator. Yes.
all right. And this, I have one more question about the startups. So you said proof of funds. How much is there a cap for that?
Yeah, no, actually, the startup program is not actually the investment program. So you don't have to have the funds required for running the business. But usually each of the founder needs to show like 1,000 roughly to be able to support their family for the first year as well. So that's not a big amount.
Okay. So the other, I mean, to run the business, capital is going to be from the
Yeah, usually startups actually they set up the business and then they raise funds from like other places like investors and so on. Oh, thank you. So we have, yeah.
So I have a question related to the traditional business. So for traditional business, how many founders or partners will be?
You mean the provincial program, right? It could be up to 3, but we always recommend to be just 1 person. The reason is that if you have like 3 people in entrepreneurship program, each of them has to invest like 200, 300, and each of them has to hire like 1 person. So basically having like 2 or 3 people in the business doesn't really help you to get the like permanent residency. You just like increase the size of operation. So we suggest to have a small business with the minimum investment, and then if out of the immigration file you want to have like a partner, you want to have an investor, you can do that. But for your immigration file, it's better to have like 1 file, and you can just plan for your immigration transfer.
Okay, I have a subsequent question. For example, I have bought a business and I'm running, and by this time I have applied for my PR, but the business is not good. I need to say, what will happen there?
Yeah, actually there are like 2 factors you need to consider. The first one is that the investment must be from the day you sign the agreement with the province. So if you have already invested, if you, for example, purchase that business, they will consider the investment you do from today, not the previous investment. This is the first problem. And the second one is that you have to be like successfully on that business for about like, I would say like 2 years, because they will come and just like audit your business. So you want your business, they will come and check the investment, they will check the hiring and so on. You have to actually keep that people in your business for like at least 6 months. And then you will send a final report. It's called final report. So you will actually report to the PMP saying that I opened my business, I invested, I hired people, and I think I'm eligible for permanent residency. So they will come audit your business, and if they approve, you can apply for the PR.
Okay. I have one more question related to the French. What should be the minimum score in French category?
Yeah, that's called CLB 7. So it's like, I would say, IELTS 5, IELTS 6 actually, like that level of proficiency for French.
For French.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.
Hi.
Hello.
When you talk about the construction section in PMP,
Yeah.
especially, do you mean only the trade people like plumbers, or whoever is working in the industry also is eligible? For example, I'm working as a price analyst for the construction, for the supplier of plumbing. So I want to know.
The answer is no. Yeah, because that's based on the job title, not the industry. So you need to have a job offer and work experience with as a trade person, like those occupations. And on top of that, you need to, because those are mostly regulated jobs. So if you're an electrician, you need to have a red seal. Even if you're an electrician, but you don't have the red seal, so you cannot get invitation under the construction.
Another question is, I work remotely and my head office is in London, Ontario, but in my job offer, there is no any address on it. So I used to work in Vancouver office, but recently I moved to a remote job. I want to know if I want to change my state or province, can I gain the points for that province only for living, but I'm working remotely for another province, which is not mentioned in my job offer anywhere, because all my teams are
I know, we have like this challenge. After that, if you want to add something, because I know that you want to answer. But the thing is, for provincial programs in general, so at the time of application, you don't need to stay there. As long as you satisfy the officer that you have the intention to live in, that's the whole story for all provinces. So if, for example, you apply for BC, in your application, you say, I am interested to live in Toronto, so your application gets refused immediately. So that's the intention. And we don't have like the residency requirement.
Yeah, we don't have, but as you said, the intention is very important. So I would say for the provincial program, do not mess up with like this application because they are very restrict on the intention. So they want to know, for example, if you say, I'm currently like in Vancouver, but I want to move to Manitoba, they want to see if you are like a serious candidate or not. So if you don't want to move to that province, just do not submit the application because you actually waste your time.
And
So
you know,
what if I move? I mean, actually, I move and after I apply, but I'm not working for that province. I'm working for a different province, but I'm living in Ontario.
The company has to have a branch over there. So basically, if you work in Manitoba, but the company doesn't have operation over there, that doesn't consider a local visitor.
and you know, these are like judgmental and you know, officer discretion. So as I said, some provinces have like their risk factors. So if you want to, for example, not you, I mean in general, someone wants to go to live in Toronto and just say that I want to go back to Vancouver, it's very hard to satisfy and convince the officer. So it's, and that's, you know, these are not the guidelines, but that's just the discretion of officer. And if they believe that you don't have that intention, it's intention. That's a very tricky word, intention. If they believe that you don't have the intention, they can refuse you.
Thank you.
I hope I can explain my question. For example, I have a degree in engineer, but I have a 25 years experience on different job titles. Not the same. I'm system engineer, test engineer, and but now I have an offer as a test engineer, but it has to be the same, experience, 25 years experience on the same job title, or it can be different job title?
You know, it's yes and no, because that depends on the program. So for federal programs, we don't care about relevant work experience. Okay, so for a federal skilled worker or CEC, it could be any job as long as it's in the NOC. But for some provinces, so they just consider if it is a related work experience. Let me just give you an example of BC. About 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they changed it. So now it doesn't have to be related. It could be any job. But the catch is, if you don't have the relevant work experience, you cannot get extra points. So before, you couldn't even apply for BC because it's not related. So, but now you can apply. But if you don't have the relevant work experience, it's very unlikely to get invitation because we have one factor as a relevant work experience up to 5 years. They allow you to apply, but there is no chance to get selected. And some provinces are very straightforward, it has to be related. For federal, we don't have that limitation. So it could be unrelevant.
I have that someone, rejected because of the title problem and your experience not on this title.
Yeah, what we do.
She can lie, but she she didn't know that the title and the job experience is important.
That's one of the things we always do for our clients. We check their work experience letter to see what is the title, what is the job duties. And we always like advise them if the employer actually can help them to have like a, I would say, adjusted list of like job duties. And that's really important. One of the actually most important factor in your document preparation is to have a good like written job offer and work certificate letters.
Thank you.
No problem.
Is it possible when we want to register the profile for permanent residency, at the same time register both of them, express entry and PM, or we have to first register for express entry and then
Okay. It's different for provinces. For example, if you're talking about BC, for provincial, we have an express entry and non-express entry. So if you want to, they used to call it paper-based. For BC PMP, we suggest to have express entry profile first because the processing time is faster. So you need to have the express entry system profile ready, and you incorporate that express entry profile number in your provincial profile. That's the best option. This is for BC, but for example, for Alberta, you don't need to have express entry for some streams. Like, for example, as I said, we have it like an expression of interest profile. So you just say that I have the interest of applying. So if you get invited in the province, then you need to apply. So, but I know that you're talking about BC because I know you. So it's the best way is to have the express entry profile, and the processing time is faster, and have the provincial after that. So these two profiles gets connected.
Yeah, in general, it's harmless to have the express entry profile often like running, I would say. So having the profile with a score of like, I would say 350, you might think that you don't have a really good chance, but we don't know actually like what will happen tomorrow. So it's good to have your profile up and just see what are the next to all the different like categories. Get that, gentleman.
Hi, hello.
Hello.
I have a question, right, pertaining to the construction area, right? Being that I'm here as an international student, right, I wanted to know, I have a trade, right, or skill back in the country, right? Now, the trade is being used here in BC, right, as I see every day in construction, but I didn't do it back in my country, right? And so it's basically crane operating, right? I did more of marine crane in my country, like at the shipyard and docks like that. I was wondering if I wanted to take the approach to take up this trade in construction, but being an international student, if I have an issue with funds, I wanted to know, is there any funds provided or that can support or help assist me if I wanted to go and take up this trade, like crane, right? Because I know that it's very expensive, but what if I'm having difficulty with funds right now? Is
You're
there
looking to have like a fund to get the trade certificate?
Yeah, because I'm an international student,
Yeah.
I'm not a citizen, I'm not a permanent resident, so.
For the fund, I want more to answer that, but as long as there's no fund available to get the trade certificate, and the issue is for you to apply for the construction, so you are international students now, you need to have a job offer and work as a trade person, licensed trade person. So basically that's not gonna happen if you're an international student. So you can do that after you get your PGWP or postgraduate work permit. So that's not an option right now because that's a job offer based program. Some programs like CEC, the federal programs, that doesn't depend on the employer, but the construction is the employer-based program. So you need to work full-time. You don't have to be an international student, and you need to have a permanent full-time job offer. And after that, you need to have a trade certificate or right to be qualified for the construction stream. And for the fund, I have no idea. I don't think so.
I don't know actually exactly, but I don't think actually there's a fund for that. Like it's a course I'm getting this. So I don't think actually there's a fund for international students. You know, it's very sad. It used to be like this. International student comes here, they study, they work, and they get their PR. It was like I would say a promise even to our international students. But many people comes here, they study, they finish the course, they work, and they are still ineligible to get their PR. So it's good actually to have a plan now before actually you like get your study permit expired or your work permit expired. Please,
First of all, thank you, Reza, for that valuable information. As you said, it's like every case is different. So, like, I'm thinking of my case now.
Yeah, sure.
And I worked after I got my work permit for almost a year as a youth and child worker. And before that, I got promoted to another position, which is supervisor, program supervisor. And then I knew that when you go up in another tier, you have to count the year from the beginning. So it's not going to be like together. The other thing is, I'm not sure what's the norm. Like when I go and check, there's like, it's kind of confusing. Like, is there a way that we can know what exactly my norm was and my norm now, what is it? And like if I go to another job, like what is it like? It's kind of confusing because there are a lot of like titles, like thousands of titles.
Yeah, you know the thing, IRCC check the duties and responsibilities, and they have like a guideline that the majority of your duties must match what they have on the ESDC website, or when you Google you see that. So it's not just the name; it's more on the job duties. So now I don't have like the exact answer, but in our consultations we review your contract or employer, like the job verification letter, and we check the duties and responsibilities, and we find the not based on the duties, and that's the best way. Because you can say anything, any job title, but if it doesn't match with what you do, IRCC have concerns about that.
So I already booked my free.
Yeah, please. Because I need to see the contract. But it's more on the duties and responsibilities.
Another question, which is like this job, child and youth worker. Now there's a new program, which is the help.
The caregivers.
But I'm hearing it's at home, not agencies. Like, how can I know if I can go back to my previous position?
Yeah, they changed it. So the company or a person, both of them counts, but it's the caregiver. Eventually it has to be like carrying a child or a person in need in home. So but the good thing is they just announced the requirements 2 days ago. So we thought that it's just 6 months of work experience, but they said 6 months of work experience, or if you have the training or the credentials. So if you have been working in that industry, I believe you have that credential. So, because you know that many people who were not qualified started to have these jobs and fulfill that 6 months of relevant work experience to make them eligible to apply in March. But now, if someone has like the credentials, relevant credentials, that also that can replace that 6 months of work experience, as long as you have the job offer.
Thank you so much.
And other requirements, for everyone, it's just CLB4, the languages for secondary education. That was one of the changes. It used to be post-secondary education, now it's secondary education. It's good, but the thing is, it is very, very competitive. So we believe that this program is for maybe 1 day. We don't know, but that's our prediction.
Thank you so much.
Especially for the case for home support workers, that's better. But for child,
Hi, good morning. Thanks for this
you know,
I just wanted to ask because I keep on hearing that you should make your express entry profile as soon as possible. And then just planning that, is it okay to have like multiple? Because I'm planning to make one, but I don't know if my understanding will be sufficient enough. So most probably I'll be asking for a consultant, immigration consultant. So would that be okay? Like I will have my own, then I will suddenly decide to approach a immigration consultant.
they have the profile they want to have.
Yeah, we can review your profile, and we have a service called like reviewing the profile. Or if you want to start from scratch, we can withdraw that application and set up a new profile if you are not actually sure about what you have done. So because even for myself, I opened my profile, then that time I talked to an immigration lawyer. He told me it's better to withdraw that application and redo it from scratch. So both options are possible. We can review your profile, or we can withdraw that application and open a new one.
What if I made my own profile and I already passed it, but then I'd like to ask for a consultant's, immigration consultant's help? Would that be okay? Like to express entries that being passed under me?
So you want to have your profile, your own
I
profile.
already did my express entry profile. Then
So have you got the invitation or no?
No.
So you basically just have the profile.
Yes.
Yeah, we can review it and make some necessary changes if it is needed. But as Mo said, we have that service. So if you want to have like the immigration consultant on your side and at the same time have your own profile, yes, we have that option. We have that service.
Thank you.
You know, no problem.
That is lady.
My question is related with the caregiver program. You mentioned it's going to be at home. Is it definite, or, for example, can this program include the child care institutions as well?
Yes, this time institutions as well as individual.
Okay. Then, for example, in the program, when I read, I just try to understand that whenever you experience for 6 months full time or a training, 6
Yes,
months training,
that's right.
after that you can immediately apply for this program. So this program needs no score, right?
There's no score.
No full, nothing.
No.
I just thought, is it, for example, 2 days ago, the category-based explained about
That's
education.
right. Yes.
I mean, it's going to be connected in the
No, two different programs.
programs.
You can have
Totally different.
2 applications for both of them and try and see which one you get the PR. So that's 2 different programs. You can have that one, I mean, the profile for expressing name under that category. And you can also apply for the caregiver program, which is on March 31st.
So, is there any number for this program?
For caregiver for sure.
No.
Yes.
So you think that it's going to be, yeah.
I would say a few hours, once they open the program, because everybody is like, they have the document in hand, they are ready to submit. So once they open the program, people goes and apply. So it might take like just a few hours to fill up.
So what's your opinion about the category-based part for education? Is it going to be continuous, or?
Yeah, they just started it. They just announced it. So yeah, I'm so optimistic about it. We don't know the exact score because they just announced it, but I think that's a better option in general for those people who have that work experience, because it is a regular thing. It's not just a one-time application like the caregiver, so it's ongoing.
I see. But what about the experience? For example, I am working in another industry now, and my work experience is mostly on that part. But I want to move to this education.
So you need to have 6 months of work experience.
But for example, I need to work in this education path for 5 years.
No, 6 months. 6 months.
So the other 6 month experience works, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for example, my profile in the express entry is available when I have 6 month experience.
Yeah, you can get selected from this category.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, no worries.
Yeah, the gentleman.
Hello, I'm grateful for your good information. My question is, during my education in the past, I had a full-time job and according to the government policy, and is it acceptable by government for this experience as a work experience?
Yeah, that's one of the things that, they didn't specify exactly because, we don't know exactly, to be honest. We have communicated with IRCC and you're seeking for an answer. And the reason for that is you have 2 permits and you need to meet each of these permits. Of course, with the open work permit, so you can freely work. So there is no limitation. But at the same time, you have the study permit that you need to follow that, which is limited. You cannot work over 24 hours. But my guess is, we're not 100% sure about it. So my guess is if you are a full-time student and you're actively studying, that work experience doesn't count. That's my guess.
I have my BCPM profile, but I never opened or initiate the express entry profile. Can I do it right now and connect them together?
Yeah, sorry.
So first they have opened the VCPMP profile, and then they want to open the express entry.
So you submitted the BC profile, yeah? Right. So you need to withdraw that. You have the express entry profile. You can have the express entry profile. Once you have the number, you need another profile for BC because you need to incorporate that number in this. Once you have the BC province submitted, you cannot make any changes. Yeah. So basically, you need another provincial profile. So please have your express entry profile, and you have the express entry profile number. Then you need to have another.
What is the advantage of having express entry profile?
Yeah.
For the BCPMP?
Yeah, the advantage is I would say just the processing time, because the express entry, it is supposed to be a faster pathway. It's not very fast, but compared to a paper-based or non-express, still it's faster.
Can I have one more question? Let's say I got the invitation from the CPMP, but some of the companies I work for last 20 years already disappeared, they closed. How I can get a proof from them to support?
Are you talking about just the one that you applied, the job offer BC, or your previous work?
Previous one.
Yeah, it happens, most of the time, so previous. There are so many clients that they cannot get connected to their previous employer. IRCC said if you don't if you can't have that letter, you need to have the explanation. So you can explain, just write a letter that so I cannot get letter of employment from because for any reason. So maybe they close down that business, so it's not possible for you. So, but it's very normal.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Another 2 questions. For the startup or business types startup or business types of pathway. So if I
which pathway, sorry?
The startup
Startup visa, okay.
So like, if a Canadian citizen is starting a business, and I have invested like 50%, let's say 50 or something thousand dollars. So can I? Is there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. For a startup program, each of the founder must have like 10% of the company, but the total of the shares of the applicant must be above 50. So if you are actually sharing the company with a Canadian, you must be 51%, and that person must be like 49%.
Should be 15%.
Yeah,
Like more than 50%.
yeah, more than 50%.
Next question. In Canadian experience, and let's say I have 2 years of experience.
Canadian experience class?
Yeah.
1 year.
Oh yeah, got it. But if I want to play like more points,
Okay.
so I was hired from our half to a new specific company. So in that period, they show me what's the due is. It was like similar as tier 2. So but when I just jumped in my actual company, when they hired me, they gave me the good position. But the fact, the similar job areas and everything, from the rubber half, it was like tier 4 or something else, right? So should I select in Express Entry profile, tier 2 or tier 4?
Yeah, first of all, you need to put whatever you have. I mean, so we can't change it. So it's based on your job duties. But for Express Entry profile, it's up to tier 3.
Tier 3.
Okay. So even if you have 10 years of Canadian experience class, Canadian experience in tier 4, that doesn't count. So it has to be tier 0, 1, 2, 3. But for CEC, it doesn't have to be continuous. It could be with 2 different companies, Canadian companies, but as long as it meets the job NOC tier 0 to 3.
Oh, okay. Got it. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to mention something because I know that maybe most of the people here have some issues about the language, so either English or French. We have one of the best instructors in town, so he's one of our guests, so that makes me nervous when I'm talking English. So, Mr. Azmi, so if you have any question about, English class, French class, they have like the certified self-pip center, so just feel free to, be in touch with him. So do you want to just say, okay? Okay, any question?
And I want to just add something for the Express Entry profile. We have just like a discounted price, and it's like a payment plan. So if you want to do it with us, you can pay like in 6 months, 6 installments, and that's roughly around $500 per month. So that's a payment plan we just introduced. So it would be like a good option for you if you want to do the Express Entry with us.
So PPP also the same, or do you have?
No, PP is like 9 months because it's like 2 applications. So that's like 9 installments of like $500.
Oh, right. So if it's Express Entry, it's 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. Okay.
Yeah, I have one question. The LNQP certificate, would it be helpful for increasing the score?
That's a very good question because I forgot to tell you that the insurance agents, I just posted the video about it. So the changes that we had 2 days ago for the categories. So in the trade, it wasn't the trade category, the insurance agents. And it's very good because I know that there are so many insurance agents in town. So like life insurance or liability insurance agents, now they are considered a priority. So it's one of those categories. And the good thing, we have to check, but it's gonna be individual, independent insurance agents as well as employees. So we don't have any issue for the employees because as long as you have the payroll, it's good. But I know that for insurance agents, many of them are like, same as mortgage brokers or realtors, they are independent. So as long as you're licensed, as long as you work under the brokerage, you have like your own brokerage, that counts. and it's a priority.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, any other question? I don't think we have a question, so I just want to mention again, if you want to have like a consultation, one-to-one consultation, we have like a free consultation for you. You can scan and set a time, and we would be more than happy to have you in your office in Vancouver downtown, and then we can have like a review your file and then suggest which program would be the best option for you.